Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining the conversation. Bernard Reisner is back with us this morning as we wrap up our discussion around the legal aspects of maternity and paternity. Now, many countries and organizations are moving towards more inclusive family leave policies, such as parental leave or family leave, if you will, which can be taken by either parent or shared between both parents, regardless of gender or biological relationship to the child. Is South Africa at that point? Not quite yet. So, Bernard, we're going to have to, I think, as simply as possible, break down expectation around maternity leave and then paternity. Let's start with maternity. What's on the table?
An employee is entitled to at least 4 months consecutive maternity leave.
Okay.
And they can commence that period any time before the birth of the child.
Okay.
But it's preferable that your medical practitioner or your midwife has to certify that in writing in terms of issuing a medical certificate.
Okay.
So if for instance, and in this day and age, there's an employee who's going on maternity leave is financially going to be constrained in terms of income. The employer has no obligation to pay the employee any salary during the period of maternity leave.
No obligation.
No obligation, and that's very important. There is numerous employers that top up an employee's salary during the period of maternity leave, but it is an agreement between the parties.
And I would imagine that's becoming more and more important now in the current climate. I'm sure people are marking that down.
It is so, yet certain employers have to produce what we call and draft a clawback clause.
Okay.
Because imagine, and it happens, an employee that goes on maternity leave is given a fairly substantial top-up amount in terms of salary. And then she decides she's not going to be returning. So this clawback clause is essential.
Sure.
And I have had certain experiences where employers fail to draft these clawback clauses or have anything reduced to writing to recover their salary. Now, you and I might understand how difficult it is to recover monies when a person is no longer in your employ and has breached, let's say, even a verbal / a written agreement to repay that amount. You have to then go through a civil process to recover that money.
Process.
And it's time-consuming, costly, and you may never recover that money, especially if that person is not at a specific address.
Or position to be able to pay it back, for instance. Okay, so that highlights the need to have your ducks in a row in that sense. Just very quickly, if we can wrap this up with the paternity question. So because this seems to be an area that is still very grey, what is due the father and what are the obligations on the employer when it comes to paternity leave?
Okay, in terms of paternity leave, the employee, just let's say the husband in this case, would be entitled to 10 days paternity leave entitlement. And it's the same process that you have to apply via UIF to claim that amount of money. Now, it's a short period, 10 days, in comparison, let's just say, to the maximum of 4 months for paternity leave. And I'm just wondering at times whether and how many husbands, let's say, apply to register and claim for that nominal amount of money. Is it too much of an onerous process?
To warrant it, yeah.
To go through those motions to claim that amount, or does one just overlook it? Now, as I'm saying, it's very important to determine whether you should do so or not. And then there's all these hurdles, because you can go and process something, whether it's electronically via the portal of the UIF,
setup, yeah.
or you go in person, and if there are glitches and hitches, you're going to become very frustrated.
And just tap out, yeah.
Yeah.
I get a sense of your daily frustrations in this space. I'm so grateful that there are people watching every element as these laws progress. It feels like there is still a lot of progression needed when it comes to balancing out the roles and responsibilities over that critical phase. If this is affecting you right now, if you are caught in a battle as it relates to paternity, maternity leave, and your own world, we'd love to hear from you and get your insights and perspective, especially if you're a same-sex couple and you have hit a wall. We'd love to hear from you. 063-408-8863. The key thing here is to be aware and fully educated. And if you need to speak to someone, make sure that you get all the information you need. Bernard, thank you so much.
Thanks very much.